All right, this project is about a gate, a door, or a pair of doors for this house. We have a gated property to avoid pets from coming in and getting out. But as many projects, you have problems with the doors. When you have bigger span openings like these ones, one single door may fall down, may lose the balance, and you end up having something that is hard to close. So what we're doing in this case is that we adding a frame. We use a 6x6 piers or posters that will be we're actually partially cut to support the structure on top, add a little bit of architectural design, and yet maintain the structure nice and sound. So we took some posters that were before, they were on the floor over here. We took all that out, they were buried all the way through. You can see how deep they were. We replaced them with the 6x6 posts. As you can tell, these boards were actually stained already throughout the house. So I'm gonna wait a couple of weeks for these ones to be stained. They recommend to just let it dry a little bit more. It's fresh, pressure treated. So an important thing is to make sure that these things are buried very well, level, and use concrete. You know, we have this company called Quikrete, and it's already mixed. So meaning that you just need a place where you can actually mix it up with water and pour it inside each hole that you made for the posts. The decorations are pretty much simple. We use a 16-inch, double 16-inch support. Those are 2x8s on top. They're going across. There were screw. Actually, I don't like to use nails. I use screws for the preservation of the structure. Screws tend to just kind of wind down after a couple of years. But we put those double supports right where we made the notches on the 6x6, and that will be going across. We're making those little slats on top, like semi-arbor or pergola style, and then the gates will be, fastened to these big, massive columns. And in a moment, I will show you how to make the doors. Okay? All right. Thank you. This is a picture of the gate that my customer wants me to replicate, or at least get very close to it. After doing some calculations, we already know what we need on this opening that we have, and now I'm gonna just show you, and my assistant is gonna help me. I'm gonna show you what was the process. Okay. As you can, as you saw in the picture, we're kind of replicating, making probably a little bit better the one that I'm doing right now. But one thing that you need to make sure when you get your boards, although they say that are like 1 by 6 by 6 feet, 1 inch by 6 inches by 6, you need to make sure that all the boards are exactly the same size. In this case, we're going to make them at 6 feet because the walls right now, the fence that we have around are 6 feet. So always make sure when you're planning to do the stuff, use a really nice and well calibrated machine. This is a compound saw, miter saw, and as you can see, for instance, this board, I didn't cut this board, but it's exactly 6 feet. But some of them are like 6 feet and a quarter, 6 feet and half inches. So you have to make sure that they're all the same. After that, we're going to use something that is called a router. And a router is this simple little machine. They want to add a little edge to the front, and what this does is that it actually curves a little bit the edge to just kind of give it a little more detailed work. Just on the front, we're not going to work too much on the back, and the reason is that the picture that you saw has doors that are really heavy if they were to build in a sandwich way, meaning having like 3 layers of wood. It will be tremendously heavy, and although the columns are going to support a lot of the weight, we just don't want to create something that is not necessary at this point, meaning that we want the view from the outside being really pretty and the inside really strong. So we're gonna put the screws on the other side. I'll show you in a moment how we're gonna put the boards together. So remember, although they say that they are 6 feet long, make sure with your measurement tape and your compound saw to cut it exactly 6 feet, okay? Next on the gate or the gates construction, I'm going to show you something that a little detail that I'm putting into the doors. If you notice, the boards right now have a little groove in between. This little detail. And what I'm doing this type of thing for you is because normally a lot of people go through like specially order blah blah blah, specially order this, and so it's really expensive. I'm using just a regular home improvement store materials, and the only thing that I'm doing is adding this edge. I'm adding this little edge to make it look a little more sophisticated, more technical. Is that I'm using a router. These are little routers from Black & Decker, really cheap stuff. I mean, it's a little router that I have for the longest time, and I put a round bit. Just calibrate the bit to just give a small little groove, and this is how you do it. Pretty much put it right next to the edge, turn it on. A little detail. It's a little detail that you add, but it gives some nice design intention. I guess you reflect a little bit of interest in what you're doing. That is pretty much it. Okay. That's how you do this part, and then I'll show you how to put it together in a moment. Measure the frame that you want. In this case, this frame is 100 inches wide, meaning the from post to post. So each door is going to be about 49 and a half inches. So we have a space for the swing and for the hinges to move freely. So what we're doing right now is that after we kind of determine the width of the boards and the width of the door, we need to cut a 3 1/8 piece of board at the end of one of them. We're just kind of superposing the wood on the frame, nothing is screwed yet. Next, we are actually screwing the boards to the frame that we already made. We put a frame on the floor, nice and square, and we are putting the boards upside down with the groove on the front, so we give that effect once you see the board. And we're using always these are Grip Right. I'm gonna get it closer. These are called Grip Right 1.25 inches, and why? Because we don't want to go through. But the cool thing about these little screws is that they have a little like serve driving design, and it actually has some grooves in the back, so it helps to avoid all this splitting and all this stuff. So this is probably as good as money can buy right now, the stores, and I encourage you to do it, to use these things instead of using other screws. Remember always to use exterior screws. Nails are gonna just pop. That was the problem of the original one, that was all messed up or uneven. So we're putting like 4 screws and maintaining this thing nice and straight. Okay. Thank you. We put the frame already. Like we explained, now the little grooves show on the front of the door, and since we are pretty much copying this design that I don't know who's from or whatever, they just printed from the internet. The next thing that I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna put these little slots in between. So I'm gonna create a nice effect of having some space in between or whatever. And we're gonna all the students are being screwed from the back. So you see a beautiful finished front and all the screws on the back. Obviously, you know, nicely done, not too disorganized and stuff. But that's the intention, to make it look really pretty on the outside. All right, show them all.